the Indian Wall Street Journal. 2 people have been killed and several others injured after an Israeli strike hit the Holy Family Church in northern Gaza, the Strip's only Catholic church, according to Gaza's civil defense. Israeli officials say they never target religious sites, but local sources report that the church suffered significant damage, possibly from tank shelling. Among the wounded is Father Gabriel Romanelli, a parish priest with close ties to the late Pope Francis. The church had been sheltering both Christian and Muslim civilians, including children with disabilities. Several remain in critical condition, including a disabled child, 2 women and an elderly person. Rescue teams continue to work at the site as the humanitarian situation in Gaza worsens. We're now joined by Martin Arias, who's a foreign affairs expert. He joins us live from Ecuador. Martin, thank you very much for joining us. Martin, Israel says it doesn't target religious sites, yet we've seen a Catholic church being directly hit today by a reported Israeli strike. It's unclear whether that came from a tank or the air. What are your thoughts on this report?
I think this is a precedent because actually it is true. Throughout the history, Israel has never targeted religious sites. However, this is like a brand new precedent, unfortunate precedent, and I think it's very unfortunate. I feel very sorry about this situation. My thoughts about this topic are that in this terrible war, of course, there will be collateral damages, and this is very unfortunate. Israel is trying as much to not harm civilian infrastructure. However, in a condensed population like Gaza, it's almost impossible. Gaza is one of the most condensed populated and one of the smallest sites in the Middle East, so it's almost impossible to avoid these disasters. I think, of course, this is gonna deteriorate the relationship between the Catholic Church and Israel, but we need to see the whole picture in the Middle East. Like, in terms of policies, there's no better place in the whole Middle East like Israel to be a Christian, where no one is persecuted. I think the Catholic Church, of course, should condemn all aggressions against Christians, including Christians being persecuted in Middle Eastern countries because of the mere fact they are Christians.
Yes, Martin, Israel said it's going to investigate this issue. What sort of responsibility, if this does turn out to be a true report, do you think that the Israeli army will take in these matters?
I think, first of all, the responsibility of the IDF is to investigate and tell true facts, of course, to be clear about what happened. And if in the case it was a mistake by the IDF, I mean, right now Israel is considering rebuilding a city in Gaza. They want to rebuild a city for the people to live there and to reparate or recover the damage that happened to Gaza. And of course, I'm not part of the Israeli government who I am to say what Israel is going to do, but my thoughts is that following this news and this precedent, Israel would definitely recover it with monetary aid or any kind of support to rebuild this mistake. But of course, one thing that I'm 100% sure is that Israel has never deliberately targeted any religious side. Of course, if Israel was responsible for this, it was absolutely an accident, a very sad and unfortunate accident that will be subject of investigation from the IDF.
We've seen IDF investigations previously being held. Do you think this is deserved of a impartial, neutral probe? I want to kind of talk about previous incidents that the Israeli army have claimed to investigate, yet we have not yet heard of their reports, one including those 15 aid workers that were killed a couple of months back, which the IDF said was report. There was calls for an international probe, yet Israel refused that. Should Israel invite a neutral probe to get to the bottom of what has happened here?
Sure, Thomas, you're right. The ideal thing would be having an international neutral organization to take part of the investigation. What's the problem? That unfortunately Israel has been subject of hostilities from a lot of neutral organizations. I mean, I don't want to be political, but I give you an example. The Sir Guterres from the UN has never directly condemned the Islamic Republic of Iran for attacking Israel. However, it always directly condemns Israel for every strike that it takes. So the moment that the UN turns absolutely neutral and the international community gives guarantees to Israel that there will be a neutral, fair, and a proper body that conducts this type of investigations, of course, Israel would need to be open for this type of investigations. However, Israel does not feel that these investigations are neutral. A lot of times Israel feels that they just are biased against one side, and this interferes within the war, which interferes with its sovereignty. So this is a very difficult situation between the interest of sovereignty from Israel and the interest of the international community to know what really is going on.
Martin, critics would say that there's surely a neutral probe that can be located in finding and investigating allegations like this one that's been put in front of us today. Some critics would say that Israel doesn't want a neutral probe to investigate matters like this. I cited a different incident earlier. What are your thoughts on that?
Of course, I mean, we're dealing with a country that is dealing with a multi-front war. He's being attacked by several countries at the same time from the Middle East. So of course, the ideal thing should be that Israel would be open for a neutral body for cooperating and investigating. But right now, if you put yourself in the shoes of Israel, which is trying to survive its mere existence and its future survival in the Middle East, Israel's interest right now is to survive instead of being political correct with international community. So of course the ideal thing would be having great relationships with the UN, with a neutral partner, but unfortunately until now Israel has not been feeling that they can trust a neutral body because Israel feels a lot of international bodies that allegedly are neutral are biased against Israel. So it is a complicated situation. I think right now Israel is focusing in surviving, and it comes with a price of damaging its international relations with other nations.
Yes, Martin Arias, thank you very much for joining us on the program. For our next story, we move over to Europe, where Russia said it has captured Ukraine.